Hello and welcome to this week's guided reading with me, Becca Handley, for the 19th of September through to the 25th of September 2022. So there's a lot going on energetically at the moment. We've just had this big full moon in Pisces, Mercury's retrograde. In fact, several planets are retrograde at the moment. So the energies are quite intense, and if you're feeling exhausted, quite emotional, you might be feeling a discomfort in your physical body, stomach issues, headaches. If you've got all this stuff and you kind of really can't explain it, chances are it's a lot to do with this huge sort of transformational energy that we're going through right now. We are literally in a state of metamorphosis. We're like caterpillars in the cocoon. And anyone that's kind of open to a spiritual path or open to sort of seeing things in a bigger way, you know, you're part of this change, and it's uncomfortable. So I know a lot of people, myself included, are finding these times quite intense and uncomfortable on different levels. So be patient with yourself, be gentle with yourself, and try and be gentle with those around you, because they might be going through some stuff and maybe not have the awareness that we do. So yeah, the awareness is really helpful. Share your wisdom to those who are open to hear it. I am going to be using the Saints and Angels cards by Doreen Virtue. Ooh, there we go. And I'll be doing a 3-card reading. Before I do, I just want to say a little bit more about the specific themes to do with this Mercury retrograde period. It's a lot to do with relationships, and looking at what might be out of balance in your relationships. And that doesn't have to be partnerships, you know, as in romantic partnerships or marriages. It could be relationships with siblings, it could be relationships with people at work or friends. So it's a time of assessment, and it's a time of being honest with yourself. It's also asking us to look at issues of self-abandonment or people-pleasing, where we put our needs right at the bottom of the pile, or even just further down the list, and we compromise our truth by trying to please other people. So these are things that might be coming up for you right now. And it's about really letting go of the things that we don't have to do. Like, obviously we all have responsibilities, and we're here to look after the planet and ourselves. But quite often we find ourselves doing things, saying yes, because we don't want to let people down. But if you haven't got the energy on some level, emotional, physical, mental, spiritual, then it's okay to say no. You know, it really is okay to say, sorry, can't help you out right now. Because if the well is not full up on some level, doesn't have to be right up to the top, but if it's not sort of an abundant well inside, then you're just going to drain yourself further. So big message of this retrograde is about learning to say no and looking at where you might be sacrificing your own needs for the sake of others. What else have we got here? Oh, and it's all about deepening a relationship with yourself, which we can do through meditation, through journaling, just reflection, you know, looking at what's going on for us and what we can leave behind, really. We're in this period of kind of moving away from our old selves, but we haven't quite stepped into the new selves. So again, it's that caterpillar in the cocoon. So, you know, what do we want to leave behind so we can walk towards better opportunities, things that serve us, things that resonate with our energies, with our hearts. So yeah, take a little bit of time if you can to think about what's out of line, out of whack in your life, and what can you do to help make it more sustainable for you and your energy. Right, so let's get the cards. I'm rambling on. Let's take a card for the start of the week. We have the Sweetness card. So we have this lovely, beautiful purple winged angel with some deer on her lap, and in shamanic culture, deer very much represent gentleness. So this card is asking you to sort of bring in some sweetness into your days, into your mind, into the words you speak to yourself and others. Where can you be gentle? Where can you bring that sense of innocence into your lives? You know, it's very easy. We're in very divisive times right now in the world, and it's easy to kind of get polarized in our views or get sucked into arguments, or to feel that harshness that is kind of people are sort of choosing to give their energy to. And whilst it's okay to have an opinion, we are all one big humankind collective, and there's more that connects us than divides us. So how can you bring a bit of sweetness into your life and to those around you? I find cake very helpful for that. I've been distributing bits of cake left, right and centre. Anyway, so sweetness is the message for the start of your week. Invite it in. Let's see what we have in the middle of the week. Pray. So we've got 2 little cherubs here with little daisies in their hair. Look at them, so angelic, quite literally angelic. This is a card of calling on something higher than you, and you don't have to be religious. I mean, everything is energy. What we focus, it's prayer. I believe prayer is kind of just positive thinking and opening up to support from the universe, from the loved ones we have on the other side, to our spirit guides. There is so much help around us wanting to help us and to support us. And it could be also a card about getting more support for yourself from whatever you're going through, whether that's talking therapy, whether that's having a chat with a good friend. Maybe it's about getting some body work and massage, some reflexology or acupuncture, anything that's going to help your energy to sort of stay steady in these really changing times. It's also a card of letting go. What in your life at the moment are you holding on to but that's not working? Have you got the ability to let it go or to want to let it go? Just hold the intention to let it go, because sometimes unless we let go of a situation, it just won't heal or it won't move on. And it is trusting that, when we sort of give it to something bigger than us, then shifts happen. Either things move on and something better happens, or that thing heals for the greater good. So if something's difficult, a work situation, a relationship situation, just see if you can kind of just have a little prayer of like, I'm letting this go to something bigger, and just hold your hands up for a bit and see what happens next. I bet you will be surprised in a pleasant way. Okay, let's move into the weekend. What have we got here? Ooh, speak your truth. That's quite interesting, because on Sunday I'll be saying very little. I'll be at an inner silent retreat at my lovely yoga centre down the road, Satyam, for those of you who live in Cambridge. Wonderful place. Speak your truth. But it is important that so many of us swallow our truths, and it ends up being pushed down into our bodies, and we're not communicating our needs, and we're not communicating the things that we need to say from the heart. And it can then end up feeling like resentment. That's a very classic sign that you're not speaking your truth. It can have physical problems. You might start to develop sore throats, achy jaw, anything around this area, tight neck, shoulders. So this card is really encouraging us to speak our truth over the weekend, but in a mindful, powerful way, as opposed to a destructive way. In a non-violent way, where we are expressing our feelings as opposed to pointing the blame at other people. So this card is really sort of wanting to set you free over the weekend. It might be also about singing or finding some expression for your throat chakra. The throat chakra is a lot to do with creativity, and when it's not working properly, if it's blocked because there's something that you're holding back, that can also affect your creativity. So if you're feeling a bit stuck around a creative project, make sure that your throat chakra is shiny and clear. So there we go. That's your reading for this week. Take care on the path. Thanks for joining me, and see you next week. Bye bye.